If you're sitting there wondering if she'll ever come back, stop scrolling, because what I'm about to tell you will hit you deep, not because it's magic, but because it's the truth no one told you when she walked away. This isn't about chasing, begging, or pretending you're fine. This is about doing one thing that changes everything. Stay with me. Because once you understand this, she will come back, 100%. Maybe this feels familiar. You wake up, and for a second you forget she's gone. But then it hits you. That emptiness in your chest. You reach for your phone, hoping maybe she texted, maybe she missed you, but nothing, just silence. You replay every memory in your head, her laugh, her eyes, the way she used to look at you like you were her world, and now she's gone with someone else. Maybe she just moved on, and you can't stop asking yourself, how did we get here? If this is you, you're probably stuck between wanting to reach out and knowing you shouldn't. You want to fix it, you want to show her you've changed, but deep down you feel powerless, like no matter what you do, it's never enough. You tell yourself to move on, but your heart doesn't listen. Every night the same thought hits you. What if she never comes back? But here's the truth. There's something powerful you can do right now. Something that silently pulls her back to you without saying a single word. It's not about manipulation. It's not about games. It's about becoming the man she can't ignore even when she tries. So the real question is, are you ready to do the one thing that makes her feel your absence so deeply? She has no choice but to come back? Listen, brother, I know what you're feeling right now. You're stuck in that space between hope and heartbreak. You want her back, but you don't want to lose yourself trying to get her. You keep thinking, maybe if I just say the right thing, maybe if I show her how much I care, she'll finally see. That's where most men go wrong, because when you start chasing her approval, you stop being the man she was once drawn to. You start operating from fear. Fear of losing her, fear of being forgotten, fear that you weren't enough. And that fear, it kills attraction faster than anything. See, when a woman pulls away, most guys panic. They text more, call more, explain more, apologize more. They try to fix the situation as if her feelings can be negotiated. But attraction isn't logical, it's emotional, and the harder you chase her emotionally, the faster she runs. The truth is, she doesn't need you to chase. She needs to feel your strength again, not in words, not in begging, but in presence. That calm, steady, masculine energy that says, I want you, but I don't need you to feel complete. That's the core principle most men never understand. A man's power is in his ability to remain centered no matter what happens. That's what women test for. That's what they feel. When you stay grounded in your worth, when you don't fold under rejection or silence, she starts to remember the man who first caught her attention. You see, she's not coming back because you begged her to. She's coming back because you quietly became someone she can't replace. You became the man who isn't shaken by her distance, the man who's focused, composed, and moving forward with purpose. So here's the truth that flips everything. The moment you stop trying to make her come back is the moment she starts feeling the pull again, because now she feels the loss. She feels your absence. She feels what it's like to no longer be in the presence of a man who knows who he is. So don't chase, don't react, don't explain. Just be that man again, the one who leads with calm confidence and self-respect. And when you do, she'll come back, not because you forced it, but because she can't stay away from it. It's late, the room is dark except for the soft glow of your phone screen, the same screen you've stared at 100 times, waiting for a message that never comes. The silence feels heavy. You scroll through old photos. Her smile, your hand on her waist, the way she used to lean into you like she belonged there. And for a second, it almost feels real again. Then your chest tightens because now she's gone. And no matter how many times you replay those moments, she's not coming through that door tonight. You whisper to yourself, how did we lose this? You remember the last argument, her eyes shifting from love to distance? The moment she said, I just need space. You didn't understand it then. You thought space meant goodbye. You tried to fill the silence with messages, calls, explanations. But the more you reached out, the colder she became. And now it's just quiet. You lie there staring at the ceiling, feeling the ache settle deep in your stomach. The kind that doesn't just hurt, it drains you. You start to question everything. Was I not enough? Did she ever really love me? What if she's already moved on? Days pass. You stop checking your phone every minute. You start getting up earlier, hitting the gym again, trying to outrun the weight in your chest. But even when your body moves, your mind stays stuck, replaying the moment she walked away. Then one night, something shifts. You're out walking alone, cool air brushing against your face, the streetlights painting long shadows across the pavement. You pause, staring at the reflection of yourself in a dark shop window. For the first time, you really see yourself, not the man begging for her attention, not the one trying to prove his worth, just you. And in that moment, something quiet but powerful settles in your chest. You realize she didn't fall in love with the man who needed her. She fell in love with the man who was whole before her, the man who had direction, presence, calm, the man who didn't chase love but attracted it through who he was. You take a deep breath, and for the first time in weeks, you feel peace, not because she's back, but because you finally stopped fighting reality, let go, and that silence, the one that used to scare you, now feels different. It's not empty anymore. It's full of strength. You stop waiting. You start living again, not for her, but for you. You become focused, grounded, steady. And somewhere out there, she starts to feel it. She feels the absence of your attention, the calm in your energy, the quiet confidence she once couldn't get enough of. She starts to remember you, not the version that begged, but the one who led with quiet certainty. And when that realization hits her, she'll come back. Not because you asked, but because you reminded her without saying a word what it feels like to be in the presence of a man who truly knows his worth. That's the moment everything changes. When silence speaks louder than words, and your absence becomes the loudest thing she's ever felt. Most men get this part completely backward. When she walks away, when she starts pulling back, they panic. They think the key to getting her back is proving their love, showing her how much they care, fighting for her, not letting go. It sounds noble, it sounds romantic, but it's not strength. It's fear disguised as love. The first false belief most men have is this: if I show her how much I care, she'll realize what she's losing. But here's the truth. Women don't fall for you because of how much you care. They fall for how you carry yourself. She doesn't want to feel your desperation. She wants to feel your stability. When you start explaining, pleading, or chasing, you stop being the man she respected. You become the man trying to convince her of something she no longer feels. And attraction doesn't respond to convincing. It responds to presence, calm, certainty. Here's the part no one tells you. When you chase, you're actually communicating lack. You're saying, you are the source of my peace. Without you, I crumble. And that's the moment she emotionally checks out, because deep down, what every woman wants is to feel the strength of a man who can love her deeply, but stand tall without her. The second false belief is this: if I don't reach out, she'll forget me. Brother, she won't forget you. Not if you were real, not if you had impact. What she'll forget is the man who lost himself trying to win her back. There's a quiet power in detachment. Not coldness, not pretending, but calm acceptance. When you stop trying to pull her back, she starts to feel the void. She begins to notice your absence, not as rejection, but as strength. That's when curiosity turns into reflection. Reflection turns into longing. Because now, instead of seeing a man waiting for her, she starts to feel the presence of a man who's becoming more himself. She didn't ghost you, you disappeared from yourself. That's the shift. That's the wake-up call. She left because the man she met, the one who was grounded, confident, unpredictable, started to fade. Not because you stopped loving her, but because you stopped leading yourself. You stopped living for your purpose. You started living for her reaction. And when you live for someone else's reaction, you lose the spark that made them attracted in the first place. So the answer isn't to chase her. The answer is to return to you. When a man reconnects with his center, his mission, his peace, his standards, everything changes. You start moving differently, talking differently, thinking differently. You stop trying to prove your worth and start embodying it. And that energy, it's magnetic. You'll notice something beautiful happen. The same silence that once felt unbearable now becomes your ally. It's not punishment. It's your reset. It's where you rebuild. Because when you rise again, steady, calm, focused, she'll feel it. Women feel energy before they see it, and when she feels your energy shift, when she feels your peace return, she'll remember exactly why she was drawn to you in the first place. That's when she starts to wonder, did I make a mistake? You see, she's not coming back because you convinced her. She's coming back because you reminded her of the man she fell for. Not through words, but through growth. So stop waiting for the message. Stop refreshing your phone. The moment you stop needing her is the moment she starts noticing you again, because here's the truth. She won't come back to the man who chased her. She'll come back to the man who found himself again. Most guys have it backwards. When she pulls away, they think I've got to do something, say the right words, prove how much I care. It feels like love, but it's fear in disguise. The first false belief is if I show her how much I care, she'll realize what she lost. That's not how attraction works. She didn't fall for you because you cared more than anyone. She fell for the calm certainty you had when you first met. When you start pleading, chasing, or over-explaining, you stop being that man. You stop leading. Attraction doesn't respond to effort. It responds to energy. When you try to prove your worth, you're really saying, my peace depends on you. That energy pushes her away because no woman wants to feel she's responsible for your stability. She wants to feel your steadiness, your groundedness, not your need. The second false belief is if I stay silent, she'll forget me. Brother, she won't forget the man who left an impact. She'll forget the man who lost himself trying to win her back. There's strength in quiet, detachment, not pretending you don't care, but being at peace with what is. That's when she starts to feel your absence, not as rejection, but as gravity. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. That's the truth that wakes most men up. She didn't stop loving you overnight. She stopped recognizing the man she first respected. You traded your purpose for her attention. You stopped leading your own life. When you return to your center, your mission, your peace, your focus, something shifts. You walk differently, speak differently. You stop trying to prove and start embodying that quiet confidence, that masculine stillness. That's what she remembers. And suddenly the silence that once hurt becomes your power. It's not emptiness, it's space for you to rebuild. It's where you become unshakable again. Because here's the truth. She won't come back to the man who chased her. She'll come back to the man who found himself again. The difference between the average guy and the 3% man isn't luck, looks, or smooth lines. It's awareness. It's emotional strength. It's the quiet confidence of a man who doesn't need to chase something to prove his worth. When she pulls away, the average man panics. He overthinks every message, every silence, every word she didn't say. His mind becomes her stage. Everything revolves around her reaction, and slowly he loses himself in the process. But the 3% man, he moves differently. He feels the same pain, the same confusion, but he doesn't react from it. He lets it teach him instead of control him. This is what he understands. Attraction isn't built through words or effort, it's felt through energy. When a woman senses that you're okay without her validation, she feels safe because now you're not seeking to pull her in. You're standing strong enough that she naturally leans back toward you. He doesn't chase, not because he's playing a game, but because he knows chasing comes from fear, and fear kills polarity. He leads with presence, not pressure. That presence comes from being rooted in who he is, his values, his direction, his peace. He knows that losing her isn't the end of his story. It's a mirror reflecting where he lost himself. This is how he thinks. If she walks away, it's not my job to drag her back. It's my responsibility to become the kind of man she can't forget. He doesn't use silence to manipulate. He uses it to grow. While most men waste that time scrolling, checking her socials, or wondering if she's thinking of them, he's out building something. His body, his purpose, his discipline. Not because it's a tactic to impress her, but because that's who he's becoming. And here's what she feels when she notices it. Peace, certainty, the very thing she lost when she left. The 3% man doesn't. Tell her he's changed. She feels it in the calm in his voice, the steadiness in his eyes, the unshakable confidence that says, I'm good either way. He's not cold. He's composed. He doesn't play hard to get. He simply is hard to replace because when you truly reclaim your center, you stop trying to convince anyone to stay. You start living in a way that naturally draws the right energy back to you. This is what he understands. Love flows towards strength, not neediness. Connection is sustained by respect, not reassurance. So he leads not by trying to change her, but by mastering himself. He becomes that steady mountain she can lean on, not the wave that rises and crashes with every emotion. And when he does that, something powerful happens. She starts to feel that calm again, the one she first fell for. She starts to remember the version of him that made her feel safe and feminine. And she comes back. Not because he chased, but because his strength made her want to return. That's the quiet secret of the 3% man. He doesn't need to control the outcome, he just controls his energy. Because he knows that in the end, the man who stands firm in his peace always draws back what's meant for him. Effortlessly, it happens quietly. Not in some dramatic moment, not with a text, not with an apology, but in the stillness of a night that feels like every other. You're sitting there, phone in hand, staring at the same blank screen you've stared at for weeks. The silence used to feel unbearable, like a weight pressing on your chest. Tonight, though, something's different. You feel the ache, yes, but beneath it, something shifts. It's not loud, it's not even clear, but it's there. A whisper that says, you've given enough of yourself to this waiting. You look around your room, the memories, the photos, the frozen moments of what once was, and you realize you've been living inside the echo of something that doesn't exist anymore. You've been holding on to a version of her that lives only in your mind, not the world. And in that instant, something cracks open. You see it. You see that she wasn't your light. She was a mirror, a reflection of the part of you that once believed you had to earn love to deserve peace. And now, without even trying, your breathing slows. The same silence that used to scream now feels calm. You're not desperate for her reply anymore. You're not begging the universe for a sign. You just are. And in that stillness, the truth hits you like a sunrise. You remember who you were before her, before the chasing, before the confusion, before the noise. The man who laughed easily, who walked with purpose, who didn't question his own worth every time someone left. You remember what it felt like to wake up and not think about what you're missing, but about what you're building. You remember that your strength was never about control. It was about surrender. Not surrendering to her, but to reality, to life, to yourself. You realize now that love isn't lost in her absence. It's rediscovered in your presence. Maybe this whole time the point wasn't to get her back. Maybe the point was to get you back. You lean back, feeling your shoulders unclench. You haven't felt this kind of peace in a long time. The kind that doesn't come from someone else's words, but from your own acceptance. You understand now what real power feels like. It's not loud. It's not aggressive. It's quiet, steady, and sure. It's knowing that you can love deeply, lose fully, and still be whole. And right there, in that simple moment, the waiting ends. You stop checking your phone. You stop wondering what she's thinking. Because you're finally thinking about you. The man who stopped begging for closure and started living with clarity. The man who realized he doesn't need to be chosen to feel valuable. The man who finally understands that love isn't about who stays. It's about who stands. And maybe, just maybe, that's when she'll feel it. That shift, that calm, that quiet strength. The moment you stop needing her to come back is the moment she starts remembering what she walked away from. But this time, it's different. Because whether she comes back or not, you've already come home. She will come back the moment you stop reaching for her hand and start walking in the direction of the man you were always meant to become. Because it was never about making her see your worth. It was about remembering it yourself. You see, love isn't something you hold on to. It's something you rise into. And the man who rises, calm, grounded, unshaken, never really loses anyone. He just finds himself again. So when she feels that shift, when your silence becomes steady, when your absence speaks peace instead of pain, she'll know, she'll remember the feeling of being near a man who doesn't chase love because he is love contained, and that's when everything turns. Not because you tried to get her back, but because you finally came back to yourself.